All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome back and happy Monday. Today, as usual, I'm going to go over what's new in our Canvas page and also answer any questions you may have about homework that's due today. Um, just so what I'm going to do first is just go ahead and share our Canvas page so we can navigate that together. Um, okay, one thing I wanted to mention is that you've seen announcements about the Science in Action series. Um, so sometimes I'm not getting the information. Well, I'm in class or something, so I may not be able to post it ahead of time. So just know that typically you can just assume that there's going to be a Science in Action lecture at 4:30, and you can follow the link that I sent. So you can go to the page, and it will take you to the Zoom link for the meeting. But I'll try to also send a reminder beforehand, also to tell you about the speaker. So if you interested, you can make sure to go and attend. For those of you who've done it before, you know that essentially as you attend, your attendance is recorded through, there's a link posted in the chat. And so you register, and then at the end of the semester, I will get a list of all of the participants so that you can receive extra credit for this class. Um, so I just wanted to throw that out there because I know last week it was very last minute. It was like, oh, hey, this is starting. But just so you know, typically, unless the time is changed at 4:30, and I'll keep an eye out. We have some pretty cool events coming up. And so just going back to, just wanted to actually stop here before I move forward. So you're supposed to complete the consultation with the librarian, and I know that I talked to her, and it seems like things went really well, and I think we got most of everyone in. But if you did not get a chance to have an appointment with her, please let me know. And the research report, which is really an annotated bibliography, don't forget that that's due next week, along with your hypothesis submission. And after this, we'll be moving on to the phase where you're going to actually be testing that. So that will be the next part. So project part 3. Which will be due in November. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit so I can show you. So this is the kind of experimental part. And it's 2 parts, procedure design and then the data acquisition. So there's time for this, but just, kind of to get you started thinking about it. So for the design of your experiment, you're going to use the work that you've done so far and define the parameters of your experiment and design it. So at this point, I want to kind of see an update in case, maybe as you did your research, you find that, oh, maybe you should change your topic a little bit, or any updates I would like to see here. What's the goal of the experiment, and then the thing that you're going to be using. So it's not so much for me necessarily, but it's for you to kind of have do some bookkeeping and have a list of materials, equipment, and think about how you're going to be doing this. And this is a step where I can also help you. So if you find that, oh, I would really need to, it would be great if I could use this or that, but you don't have access to certain things, please let me know and I may be able to help, okay? And then along with the list of materials, the steps that you're going to take to complete the experiment. And so here I give you an example with the example that we're kind of following along with the project. Okay, so you can see that just an example of a submission here. And the second activity, and that will be due later, is to actually complete it. So now that you've designed your experiment, you actually want to go ahead and perform your experiment. And so here you're going to kind of share what you've done. And so you can take photos of the different steps or a video so it probably depends on what you're going to be doing. But some sort of illustration that shows that you actually completed the experiment and how. All right, so this is upcoming and we have time, but I just wanted to start talking about it so that if you have questions coming up, there is time to answer them. Um, okay, so we have completed at this point, so Unit 2, everything for up to Chapter 8. So you have all the videos now, you have the last homework for the unit that's due next week. And you also have the last activity here. And so, as you know, that's good news and bad news. So that means that we have one unit down, but the bad news maybe is that it means that we're going to have a midterm coming up next week. And so you have the practice exam here. So remember that I think you have like 100 attempts for the practice exam. You don't have to take to take it 100 times, but every time you try it, it will generate a new set of questions for you that are similar to what you'll see on the actual tests. So I would really encourage you to try and practice those questions. And then the actual midterm will look very similar to what we had last time, where it will be questions similar to the practice exam plus some essay questions. Okay. So I will be adding, so just like last time, so you'll see the midterm when it's actually ready. You had the information. I'm working on updating that. So I just want to be a little bit more precise on kind of the instructions, because I know that, so this is the information is going to look extremely similar for the one that you'll have next week. So in terms of the accessibility, the time frame will be similar. So all of next week you'll be able to complete your midterm. You'll have the same amount of time. But I just want to address the fact that, I saw as I was grading, the essay questions, some answers that were similar. And so I know things are looking different because we are online and we have access to a lot of different things. So I'm just going to ask that you provide me with a little bit more information, and especially now that you've worked on a bibliography that, that I have your sources. In some ways, I think that, it's we do it all the time. When we're looking for an answer, we Google it, and sometimes it works, sometimes not. You may have seen that also during doing the research for your projects and talking to our to Pia, our embedded librarian. So I'm just working on adjusting those to reflect kind of what I saw in the first midterms. I just wanted to let you know. And that will be up probably in the next couple of days. But in terms of time frame, and it should be, it will be similar to what we did for midterm one. And so once again, I almost don't want to call that a midterm because I know like there's enough anxiety these days. And so it's kind of a mid-semester or, check-in, seeing how you're doing. And what you also see at the end of the unit is another survey to check in, see if you have any feedback, how you're doing, that kind of thing. Okay. So make sure so you have all of the content for now for all of unit 2 that is complete. That means that we're going to be moving on to unit 3. And so for unit 3, I opened up so you see that you have, so I opened it up so you have a lot. I decided, this is all of the stuff that is going to be coming up, and I know some of you were eager to get started early. So even though, I'm catching up, or I'm on this a schedule with the posting the content, but also because I don't want to post everything at once, which by the way would be impossible, but also because I don't want things to be overwhelming. But for those of you who do want to get a head start, you do have now all of the homework posted for unit 3. I even posted the practice exam if you want to get started and just practice. But, there's a lot of time for this, but it's there. And so we'll be moving on to our chapter on thermal physics. So we're on track, and I'll be working on posting the videos for this. And so I just wanted to put this out there. But the focus for this week would be to complete everything from unit 2, look at the practice exam, uh, and and please reach out if you have any questions. I have office hours all week, Tuesday through Friday. So if you have any questions as you're working through the practice exam, please stop by if you can. And if you have any concerns about how things are, how you're doing in the class, you're anxious about your upcoming exam, please come talk to me. And so I realize I've been talking at you a lot. I want to make sure. So I don't see any questions in the chat, but do you have any questions at this point? And so again, no pressure in terms of everything that is due today. So we have chapter 7, and we also have the homework for chapter 7 and the activity. It was actually really fun to look through your contributions for this. But did you have any, are you stuck, or do you have any questions on anything that is due today? And okay, so it sounds like no questions so far. I do want to give you a chance to also maybe check in with your peers in a moment. So I'm gonna stop sharing. And I'm going to essentially stop the recording, and thank you all who joined us later. I just want to also give you a chance to maybe talk to your peers and put you in breakout rooms if you have a homework question or something that you'd like to discuss. And what I can do is stop by the rooms and help if you need anything. So, but for now, I'm gonna stop the recording, and then maybe that will be easier for some of you to ask questions.